It's here, it's now, it's the final table of Premier League poker. Our 6 players are trembling with anticipation, ready to put their mitts on the trophy and the winner's check of a cool $250,000. 12 of the best poker players from around the world started out in the Premier League. We're down to our final table of just 6. Last year's champion, Juha Helppi, bailed out. Phil Hellmuth crashed to the bottom of the league.
I want the limo. I'm ready to go. I don't want to hang out with it.
Devilfish showed class coming back to make the playoffs, but missed out on the final to Annie Duke.
I just want to say for the record that Fish is a better player than I am.
Also through via the playoffs, Roland the Wolf.
This is a different year of Premier League for me.
Tony G finished top of the league table.
Yes, baby! I am the greatest.
With Andy Black close behind.
Unbelievable.
6 seats on the final table, and players will be converting their points from the league standings into chips at the rate of every point worth 10,000 in chips. Tony G will be the chip leader with 380,000. Andy Black will have 330,000, and Alex Kravchenko still up top with 260,000. The shorter stacks are Lusk with 210,000, Roland the Wolf with 200 grand, and Annie Duke with 190,000. But as the blinds are starting very low, there's plenty of play in here. Our 6 finalists are about to play in the biggest match of their lives. Only one can be champion.
After all of these episodes, after all of these games, it just comes down to one game.
If I could beat them, obviously that would be fantastic. I would feel like that was a real feather in my cap.
I'm going after all of them, each one of them, and I don't take prisoners.
The only result which I'm going for is to win it.
I feel confident today. I feel really good. You're going to see maybe some fireworks. Just going to put on a good show, and I really want to take the title too.
Tony G is here to win and to destroy them all.
Here they come. 6 players, but only 1 trophy. Doesn't get any bigger than this. And Phil, what is the mental mindset of the guys from the green room and coming into this match?
Well, you know, everybody seems to be pretty comfortable. They know that this show, look, the Premier League, this is the 2nd year, and now would be a great chance to secure a victory because this show is growing every year. It's going to more countries. It's become bigger and bigger, and everybody knows it.
And Phil, the points have been converted to chips on this final table. There's about 1.5 million in play. We've got the yellow thousands, the blue 2,000s, the red 5,000s, the green 10,000s.
Ooh, look at those green chips, baby! Woohoo! I haven't seen those in a year.
With the blind starting at 1 in 2,000, it's going to be flop, turn, and big river poker. No limit Texas Hold'em and check and raise is allowed. Blinds 1 in 2,000. But just wonder, I mean, Andy Black and Tony G have played big pot poker, over-aggressive. Right now, these big overbets, if they make them, I mean, they're dangerous, aren't they?
Good luck, everybody.
Absolutely. The blinds are 1 and 2, and people should be really patient. They shouldn't, you know, shouldn't be too overly aggressive, and really that's the name of the game right now. On the other hand, if you have a read on somebody on this level or the next level, these are the levers to come over the top of somebody weak because you're not risking all of your chips.
Let's find out if you win the first hand. If you lose, that's okay.
The Wolf with the Queen Jack of clubs, and quick call from Tony G.
I mean, it's so much in
they
there
both got
already. How
just
can
a
you lay down?
minuscule percentage of their stack in. This feels like that deep stack 25,000 tournament at the Bellagio
You didn't come for
or
the whole
something.
Premier League to lay down, Tony.
Yeah,
just
and
to be fair. Cool.
and there's a 10 jack out there too. So basically at this point Andy Black is totally dominated. He can't hit a 10 and it'll be the best hand, and he can't hit a jack and it'll be the best hand. And look at this.
What a
look
flop
at
for
this.
the Wolf.
Check.
This could be the incredible thing. There could be an all-in on the first hand.
Roland the Wolf is about 200K deep, and Tony G has nearly twice that many. Now, Roland will think that he's hit sort of the monster, right?
Tony G could insta-move all in here. Roland could bet out. Tony G could say, I'm all in.
12,000.
Not flush draw.
A new strategy for Tony G. It's the first hand. He wants to play it a little slower than usual. A club would be disastrous for DeWolf. He may, in fact, go out on the very first hand if a club comes off.
Oh, my. You know, Phil, I mean, is it possible? Everyone has sort of, you talk around, everybody is expecting Tony G to dunk off his chips in some huge pot. Hasn't looked like that in this first hand. Do you think he was setting the field up?
No, I don't think. I think that Tony G will be Tony G, and you know, and I think that Roland has checked here, and Tony's deciding what he wants to do.
Friends?
Is Roland playing for the check raise?
I wouldn't be surprised if he bet 20,000, but he bet out 12.
So sick. I have to call this guy down.
Is does Roland think Tony might have a bigger queen, and is he trying to induce a bluff perhaps here? I mean,
He might have to fire a really big one to get me off.
Yeah.
Comes the club.
Wow.
Queens are good.
And now Tony G doesn't have to bluff. He has ace high. So.
You like to see my hand?
Yep.
Does a pair win?
Pair wins.
And Roland thinks he has a big hand. He has no idea that the ace high flush is right behind him.
You play careful, Roland.
She can't give me a call.
I feel like Tony had the runaway chip lead and points lead in this Premier League from early on. The last two matches, I don't think he had his concentration, Phil, and just got this sense this evening that this is something that is really important to him. He wants to win.
Cool.
And look at this. He limped in with the eights. That's Philhelmuthian.
Yeah.
Something I might do. Oh, and Annie has the ace-king.
Raise 8,000 more.
Now that's an easy call for Roland. Now that's a great thing about just calling with the eights, is now you can call a raise. If he would have raised and Annie would have re-raised, he had to fold. Yeah. Now he can take a flop with the best hand, by the way. Of course, Tony G somehow gets it in there with Queen Jack, and you know, that's Tony's strength and weakness. I mean, playing Queen Jack here is definitely not something that I would do or many of the great players would do, but as it turns out, he's not in that bad a shape.
Roland's not worried about the two players that were behind him. He's just looking for the 8.
And sure enough, there it is. There's
the G-man.
The G-man again. And Annie's firing out on the bluff.
Is she speeding here?
Well, if she hasn't, she doesn't know how tight Roland's been playing, and so Roland's caught in a pickle here because he may figure out that he has Annie beat, and call the 15,000, only to be surprised from behind.
Cool.
With the bet and the call, I mean, even though Tony's got the best hand, it's a great flop for him. It's not really like that strong.
Yeah, but he can find out for cheap. He can make it 35,000. And there's nothing wrong with the call, mind you. But, I mean, he could make it like 35,000 here, 40,000, and they're both going to insta-fold. Okay, he decided to play the more conservative way. Now, Annie knows she's beat here, and she's going to give up on this pot unless an ace or king comes. She said, what did I get myself into here?
Tony's decision to call, maybe because he's on the button, has position?
Well, that gives Annie a flush draw.
Check. Check.
She checks. Roland checks.
30,000.
And Tony bets 30,000. Now, Annie does have the king of hearts here, but she pretty much knows she doesn't have the best hand, and she also has to worry about Tony G having a made flush. So, you know, she could call here. There's already 110,000 out there, or she could fold here. Either one is okay, but it's pretty unlikely one of them has a nut flush. So I'd be leaning a little bit more towards a call. I certainly don't mind a fold.
Phil, this is the biggest pot of the night.
Pass.
And Tony G's
and
taking it down.
Look at that, you know, and I mean, Tony G in an unorthodox hand, in an unorthodox way, has won the chips again, and really that hand should have come down to Roland and Annie, and you know, and but it didn't.
What else could I have under the gun? I had a small raise. And
no, you're right.
I got re-raised, I folded.
I was just making extra sure. I know it was the only hand you could have had.
Some of your fans were not happy.
Raised 6,000 total.
Some of your fans Some of your fans weren't happy.
See if I hit us. Yeah, I know. They weren't satisfied with that.
They might cancel the subscription.
Pass.
Take care, Roland. I'm not done yet. I have to look at my hand.
Pass.
Still the first level of the final table.